Hello, welcome to Unglamorous Truths with the Downtown Girls. I'm Chandra.
I'm Amebit.
I'm Crystal.
And this is the podcast where we discuss the highs and lows of the entertainment industry. Now, recently I was, doing some organizing and I went on a deep dive and I found an old journal of mine. And it's definitely, I'm going to say from fourth grade, so I'm like 9. And it had a list of things that I would do before I was 25. And so it was a very long list. It was 25 things before 25. So I just took a few of my favorites and I'd like to share with you all. Win an Oscar for Best Actress by 25. Be a millionaire. Well, what it really said make $1 million. And so, okay, it's not what 1 million. Dye hair blonde like Mary J. Blige. Check. Buy a house in Australia and a Hyde Park mansion. Hyde Park, Chicago, where I'm from. Swim with sharks. Write a book about fairies.
Oh. You wrote this when?
This was when I was in fourth grade.
Wow.
So this was, I'm telling you, I love lists. You guys know that I love lists. Is how I track things. And I always have. And so I was always obsessed with my future because I always felt like my future is going to be so bright. It's going to be amazing. Like, now it's hard. Grammar school is horrible or elementary school is horrible. But I was like, my adulthood is going to be popping. And clearly had no concept of age, that I thought all these things were wildly attainable, easy. And again, like I told you, there's way more of these. There's 19 more things on this list that I was going to do by 25. So I wanted to, start with the question of, if you were sitting down having a chat with your younger self, and you asked your younger self, what do you think we have done by this time? What would your younger self say? What was the expectation that you would have done by now?
Well, I remember that in fifth grade, we had to write a book, or a short story about, it was called My Story. And it was about your autobiography up to that point. And then what was coming, right? What you dreamed for yourself. And I remember I said, definitely, I thought I was going to be pretty much be Mariah Carey. Like, I was going to be her. Like, I was like, whatever she's going with, like, that's what I'm on. Like, that's what I will be. Like, I will be her. I'll be a singer. I'll be a millionaire. I'll get to travel all over the world. I'll sing high notes. Ooh. Yeah, I still got it. And then I also thought I would also be at the same time an author and an architect. I wanted to be all three things at the same time. I was really obsessed. I still, to this day, it's just transferred over into interior design and houses. But when I was a kid, I loved making my own worlds of like houses out of shoeboxes. So like that was my little architect days as a kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's so cute.
Yeah. So, but that's what I thought I was gonna be on.
I remember when I forget the age, but I definitely said that by 16 years old, I would have my own apartment and have blue hair. So I'm living half of that dream. I do have an apartment.
You do have, I was like, your hair was blue?
No, I have an apartment. I do live on my own. So, she saw something, but the blue hair never manifested. It was really modeled off of like an older girl on my block. And I was like, oh, that looks so good. I'm going to do that when I'm 16. Because 16 is the age where financial freedom is achieved, obviously.
Right.
I didn't even know what my 30s was. I probably was just going to be a parent. Because that is what a parent was.
Right. And I think that's why I thought I was going to accomplish so much by 25, because shortly after 25, obviously now we're going to get married and then have kids, and then 30s I'm just going to be coming home every day to my kids in my rich homes, my mansions, obviously.
And grinding just wasn't a part of it.
Right. So are you ever surprised at how long the journey has been?
Surprised, dumbfounded, exhausted, lots of feelings.
I mean, we also like, I feel like everybody as a kid is always like, you're dead after 25. Like, what's the point? You're just old then. You're a parent. But like, what are you like? I remember my perspective was so skewed, and I feel like most people's are. I feel like, I don't know why kids, we really truly believe that like 30 and above, what's that? You know,
Truly
don't know.
Baby, you about to die tomorrow.
Like,
you 30, you dead.
You unwell. Yes.
I was a huge NSYNC fan, and like looking up all their ages, I was like, okay, Justin Timberlake, he's regular because like he's not too far from me and my teeny bopper age. But I was like, oh, Chris Kirkpatrick, baby, 29. Clock is ticking on your life.
Literally.
I was like, that nigga, oh,
An elder statesman.
Literally.
Grandpapa.
No one talks
impressed
about
that he could be dancing bye at 29. Like, oh, look at him doing some working.
Bones.
Oh my God.
It was such an unknown. The 30s, 40s, 50s. It was like, forget about it. It's like
it's retirement age.
Yeah, you're retired.
Right. And so, now that we're in it, in today's, episode, I really want to talk about the concept of, are you ever too old? Are you ever too old to pursue a dream? Are you ever too old to have a dream? Are you, are you too old to go after a dream? Where do you guys stand on that? Because I vacillate.
I mean, I think it depends on what the dream is, and also depends on the person. Like, it's a very individual journey. So for me, I think if I ever decided I wanted to be a rapper, it's a little too late. Okay. I don't have any passion for music in that capacity, but I'm like, I was 34 years old trying to rap. Long shot for me, but like, hey, go ahead. I'm not going to knock you because you may be a fucking star. But for me, that's a little too, I don't think so. Be realistic, bitch. But then it's like, I kind of feel like I discover new passions. And I think that's what life affords you, that opportunity to really kind of fall in love with other things. And who's to say that you can't become an interior decorator, designer? Like, who's to say that you can't become an author? Like, first of all, people shouldn't be writing books until they live a life to begin with.
Period.
Yeah. What are you writing?
Period.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So that is really reserved for, when you're a little more seasoned in life.
I feel like the way talent works is like, it's there. Your gifts are there for you to just use because they make you happy. And like, that is their purpose. You're given them, right?
Yeah.
We all have that thing we did when we were really little that we just loved to do and we could do pretty well. And it was just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow, I really can do this. So it's like, for me, I'm like, nah. Like, if society is just like, I don't know when they start teaching you can only do one thing and you have to do it quickly and well and make tons of money. And if you're not in those boundaries, you are unsuccessful. I think I call bullshit. Like, it's cap. Because it's just like, it's not true. Because when I think about some of the people that I love the most that made the biggest impact on me, love Whoopi Goldberg. She did not blow up and get super wildly successful young. She was homeless and literally like had 3 other careers.
I had no idea.
Struggling before the age of like, she started really getting on into her 30s. There's Samuel.
Wasn't James Cameron driving a bus?
Yes,
in his 30s.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson was a drug addict. I don't want to misquote, but it was something bad. In his 30s, he did not get on until his late 40s.
I don't want to misquote something bad.
Sorry, Sam, we love you. But he was struggling with his wife in his 30s and literally broke out in his late 40s and coming to America. People can change the world at any age.
Yeah.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. To be honest, like, obviously as a child, I really didn't have a sense of age, as we all discussed. None of us did, 16, thought she was grown. But I did always have a fear of getting success too early because growing up, I watched nonstop, like
Driven.
Yep.
Behind
the music. Yes. And it was like always the people who kind of so young, and of course this is not an across the board thing. Like, we know people who are very successful, very young, and they're wonderful people. But it scared the shit out of me because I was like, damn, well, I don't know if I get it too early, am I going to become a crackhead? And everything was a crackhead, right? There was no really other kind of drugs growing up.
There is something to say about the consistency in those stories. They always kind of went down the same paths. And granted, perhaps, those programs were really skewed to that one point of view and were really invested in those stories and didn't really highlight the rest of what success really looks like. But it didn't for me instill that level of fear of like, hold on, I think I want to like go through B, C, D all the way to Z instead of going from A to Z. I want to experience all of it, because once I get to Z, where the fuck am I gonna go?
Right. You chasing some high, chasing these career.
And also, I mean,
milestones.
like when you think about child actors, period, it's like when a child is a commodity, when a child is mixed with business so soon with a parent that is probably potentially in an unknown space themselves, because like they might not have been an actor themselves. This industry might be new to them. They're excited about the idea of their child becoming a star. Right. And then let's not talk about, I mean, if y'all seen that recent Whitney movie, woof, when the parents start to attach to the talent of their child to be a succubus and take all the money from them and push them further so they can make more money for them, you doing all of that to a child? Like, there's a lot to detangle there, and your worth is going to get wildly perverted. Like, you're going to think, I am what I produce. I am as much as I am successful on paper. When these adults are clapping for me, that's when I win. Like, there's just so much that you have to process.
Yeah.
And no one is guiding you through most of the time. You're just like winging it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's some things, it's like, I feel now that I'm better equipped to handle certain stuff. Like, I know myself better. I know my value better. Like, I know how to say no better. You know, like peer pressure has less effect on me, you know, because I'm thinking about the next morning. I don't want to do this shit. I ain't trying to wake up with no regrets. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to fuck around. But I will say that we're in Hollywood, right? You know, and youth is the cult of Hollywood. You know, I literally just the other day was looking at Variety's Young Hollywood list, right? And then you think about 30 under 30. 30 under 30. This expectation that you're going to have these wild accomplishments under 30. Bitch, you just learned to wipe your coochie. Sorry to be rude, but you know what I'm saying? Like 30, which now to me seems so much, you know, younger. But I do think we are in a youth obsessed culture. And every once and again, I can't help but feel like I am drastically behind.
Yes.
And like there is not enough time to catch up. And, you know, I've always had a weird thing about it because I've always been older from my grade, because the cutoff in the state of Illinois is September to make it into the grade. My birthday's in October, so I've always been like that first wave of birthdays. And with everybody just being younger than me my whole life, I just always felt like I had less time. So then in getting in this industry, it was just like gas, you know, gas to a flame. Just like, you don't have time, you know, and you're like constantly looking at your face and you're like, ooh. Oh, you got bags now. You got bags now, shorty. You know, and I will say, I think for me, it's like an active thing to be like, you have time. But sometimes I'm like, do you have time? You do have time.
So crazy, because it was always the opposite for me. I'm always the youngest in every space that I'm in since I was a kid. I was younger in my grade. So all of my friends are older than me. So I always felt like I had an abundance of time. In my 20s, like I was never in a rush for anything. Like I wasn't pressed about like, you know, relationships progressing to marriage, because like I have time for that. Like I want to spend my 20s being young and free and making mistakes and falling and getting back up, and then, you know, in my 30s it'll just like it'll like snap and come. Like I feel like when I hit 30, it was just like, bitch, you was fucking around. Get it together. And I felt like there was so much catch up that needed to be done, and then so much anxiety attached to it, and shame of like, what the fuck were you doing? What were you doing? In pretty much every aspect of my life, personal, professional, all of it. But then I'm like, how do I hold space for myself? Because it's like, I manifested this. I said I was going to take my fucking time, and I'm doing it. And everything that I said I wanted, I'm getting. And so just because I want to like speed up the clock now doesn't mean I'm not living in a yesterday's prayer.
Just thinking about what you said about taking your time in your 20s, like I feel like in general, like especially in our early 20s, you know, early to mid 20s, boy, did we live. Like, and boy, did we lived, and because we lived, we have the stories to tell, and that became our art. So, like, how that is the joy of living first, right? I think that we embody that so beautifully for so long, and that is why I think that's our gift as artists, is that we don't move as robots, right?
Yeah.
There are some people that really do put an insane amount of pressure on themselves to get it right, that they don't ever take a breath to just live. And that's where the stories come. That's where the inspiration comes. And it's like, imagine if you were putting yourself on some type A, gotta make it to the 30 under 30 or the 25 under 25 or whatever, because the list could always get younger.
Is that a list too?
Probably.
25 under 25?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, not Forbes.
That's
but they have
extraordinary.
They love lists.
Fortune has a 40 under 40 if you want to still catch that.
you know, but it's just like, screw your list, because it's just like, yes, of course it sounds great to make it to a list, but it's like, when you also, I know for myself, when I've had certain milestones where I finally felt like I did it, like NYU was such an exciting place to get into and to graduate from, and I to this day am so proud of that. But then there's also things on my bucket list where it's like, it really doesn't, like, the thing that I'm almost more proud of my high school graduation than my college graduation, just because it was like, I knew I was headed to such a life of my own choosing. And that was more exciting. When graduating college, I was filled with fear about what the fuck am I doing?
Life just got realer with each milestone.
Got realer.
And the romanticism starts to fade.
Yes.
And so when you said, life just gets realer with each milestone, and when I said earlier, like, I've been kind of vacillating with, are you never too old? Because in my truth, I'm a dreamer, so I'd like to lead with the optimism of, you are never too old. You 65 and you want to fucking deep sea dive, you get your ass in that water, okay? You get down there. But the older you get, like, life continues, right? Your responsibilities grow, and I start to worry that it might be irresponsible.
Yeah.
There are other people who depend on me. I'm not, 22 with, one bill, rent, and living in some cheap place. Like, no, I have mortgages.
Yeah.
Plural.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have real people counting on me, expecting me to bring home the bacon. So I'm in a weird place where I am kind of sitting with how long it's too long to wait. When do you call it, quits? Do you just go as long as you can, provide for everyone, or that you can, mentally sustain? At a certain point, is it kind of irresponsible? I don't.
I mean, those are valid questions, because it's just like, you have children. When you have children, it's just like that. I'm sure there's a different level of mother instinct that kicks in, where you just want to protect them, make sure they're taken care of beyond all means, by all costs, right? And I think absolutely, like, validate those feelings and feel them, and also know that you are safe and you are supported, provided for, and until you don't, like, if you look at your situation, you probably can absolutely take care of them, right? That's just a fear in your mind.
They have their little college
They're
fund.
fine. They're just fine. Everyone's just fine. Because I think it's also important to, like, really, when those moments come up, because they come up for me, they come up for all of us, like, think about what your parents were able to afford for you as a kid, and think about how your family's legacy is expanding and growing and changing, and, like, you probably are making more money, hopefully, than situations where your parents were in, either at your age or before your age, right? Like, us, this risk is paying off. This dream is paying off. It's progress. It's not, there is no expiration date. It's not like, oh, boom, 37, we done. I did it. It's a journey. It will always be a journey. So it's just like, but I do see, I'm already wildly, what do they like to say? I'm my ancestors' wildest dream. Like,
yes.
I'm already leaps and bounds ahead of, maybe not where I thought I was going to be as a kid, but for my family, I'm the first college graduate on my mom's side outside of my grandmother. Like, and she went back We love you, Joyce. Where you at? Yeah. Joyce went back at 60 and got her degree.
See?
Wow.
So that is my testament is you're never too old, because my grandma was like, I'm not going to let, she was like, I had a life, I had my kids, but I'm going back and I'm getting my degree because I deserve a higher amount of pay in this educational system.
I know that's right.
So I've learned from that. Like, just keep going.
But to your point about like feeling irresponsible, like, I mean, the level of comfort that I require for my life has certainly increased the older that I've gotten. You know, I can no longer like lug a bag of laundry down the street to a laundromat like I could do in my 20s. It's like, I'm not built for that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it. And if I have gotten to a point where I'm like, if that is what is required of me, that like downtown girl hustle, it's like I'm not afraid of hanging it up. And I actually did get to a point like last year when I had a conversation with our managers. I was like, y'all, I think I'm done. Like and not even in that I don't think like I have it or that I'm not good enough. I was like, I'm just so tired of the fight. I really am. And like, I am moving into a space where I want things that want me.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be in resistance to anything in life because I'm not going to be here forever. And I only have right now. I want to enjoy today, and I don't want to put my life on pause for the future of like, I'm gonna just suffer a little bit right now and it's gonna pay off. When is that fucking payoff gonna be?
Right. And you know, when you bring that up, it's like to talk about the sacrifice to do this work. And I do think some of that correlates into age, right? Particularly with women. Like, I think the age conversation is much, much different for us because men, you know, everybody, you know, it's been widely accepted that men just get better with time, right? They just get finer and finer with time.
More mature. Not always true.
But when, you know, they beard come in, right? That little patch fill in, you know what I'm saying? They look at Idris, better with time. Women, boy, the way they will drag
Your
a woman,
stock
if you don't
drops.
do shit to your face, oh God, you know, and I won't personally name any women because I ain't gonna shame nobody, but I have seen responses to certain actresses who have refused to get work, and it's just like, is this the crypt keeper, you know?
I think that, what do they say? Like, it's not that things get any easier, you just get better at them. And I feel like with time, the epiphany that I have been having in the last year or two is like, okay, how can I continue in this work and in this career sustainably and pleasurably? And what do I need to do to take care of myself better as an artist and as my own CEO as I continue to pursue? Because I too am getting off that motherfucking struggle bus. And so one thing that came to me was, oh my God, I never had any financial literacy. Like, no one taught me as an artist or someone working for yourself how to take care of yourself through multiple streams of income, passive income, learning to flip things so that you don't have to struggle, you know, to paddle as you're pursuing your dream. Let the paddling go. Let the passive income take care of you so you can solely dedicate yourself with the energy that's required to be an artist.
Right.
And that's a huge lesson in my 30s, because in my 20s I was just getting by and, you know, thinking at some point this shit was gonna pop off.
Like, it was temporary.
Yeah, it was temporary.
But I was like, no,
Yes.
but that was life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. On the topic of sacrifice and women in this industry, things like having children, right? I feel like this is stuff that you continue to push so that you can have this industry be your baby. Actually making proper investments and things, because all of your money, you know, now it's a little better, but all your money got to get your headshots. Who's gonna edit my reel? Classes. All this money
Invest
that you
in
have
yourself.
to put into. Yes, invest in yourself. So I do feel like, you know, as age goes, like sometimes when I sit with, you know, or it used to be like this, less now, but when I would sit with people who weren't in this career, I would feel like in a state of arrested development almost, because I'm like,
y'all are making all these strides in life,
right?
And I'm still at this this level because I'm waiting for somebody to let me into this door.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, not people, I'm looking at like, why the fuck am I waiting for this door? There's so many doors.
Yeah.
But I want this one so bad. It's the only door for me.
I can't get
Tunnel
off
vision.
it. I can't get off it.
My man.
Yeah. Gotta go in. You know, and I don't know if I think it's fair, you know, because I do feel like women have to sacrifice a little more, you know, because you do have to push shit off, because you got to try to keep your stress levels down. You do have to try to look cute, you know. You have to. I remember the first time I got that commercial audition for Mom.
Oh my God.
It took me out, and I was not a mom at that point.
Offended. Like, excuse me? You think I'm a fucking
You think
mom?
I could be a mom? And yeah, I'm about to drive down there and do this audition. But you think me at the tender age of 28 could be a mother? Like, bitch, you 28. You could have been a mother 14 times by now. No, not 14, whoa. But you know, you certainly could have had three kids by 28.
Absolutely. My mother says all the time, like, she's like, you know, at this point, you just have to continue to pursue this dream because y'all already late when it comes to life stuff.
Yeah.
My mother was a mother at 16. That's super early, yes. But she had her last kid at 26.
Yes. And I often think of your mother when I think of this conversation, because I remember her just being like, you guys are career women.
Yeah, you're career woman.
What is a career woman?
She's looking dragging us, but like also like bigging us up.
Career woman.
But yeah, like her goal, not her goal. I mean, my mother had dreams, but she put them aside to be a parent.
Same.
Yeah, she put them aside to be a parent, and she just kept saying like, well, like you didn't have kids when people have kids, so like embrace that and use that as fuel to just keep going, because you can't go back. So
No,
you can't go back,
which would be nice.
And also like, you know, we're a different generation than our parents. You know, people our age are having children later, period. Like, a lot of people are waiting. Some people are saying they don't want to have kids, you know.
I didn't realize that like science was involved. Like when I was younger, I just thought like it was fine. That people was like, it's normal to have kids at 40, and now you're like, wow, what a miracle birth, 40. And even today I'm like, god damn it, why do we, I get the science behind it, but shit, it sounds so crazy to be like, oh, she had her first baby at 40. Wow.
And how they're going to call it a geriatric pregnancy.
And play you out.
Geriatric. You know, and that word,
like, I feel so young. Like, and to have other people or society tell me that my clock is ticking, it's like, get the fuck out of my uterus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but then there is the reality of, you know, I looked up the other day about egg count, and it was a hard truth. It said after 35, it decreases by half every year after that until, so by 42, it's usually like, you know, a wrap. That being said, I also know people that have had multiple women.
Some fertile myrtles out here.
Very healthy babies at 40, 41, 42.
We drum up all this, like, fear and like I don't know how, I mean, I know a lot of it is based on facts and science, but like it's fear mongering. Hurry the fuck up. I'm like, I am not prepared, and I think people need to be realistic about like, are you ready to even be a parent right now?
Right.
Talk to them.
It's not just about like, oh, I'm of the age. Are you of the fucking mind?
Talk to them.
Are you of the finances?
Like, I don't think I am not at a place where I can mentally give someone else all that attention. Right now, like if it happened, then sure, I would have to. I think I'm gonna be an incredible mother.
You can do it.
But I know the kind of mother that I want to be. I know the kind of mother that I have, and I just want to be a little selfish right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what will be a transition is the amount of focus you can put up on that goddamn career.
Right.
That's going to be a huge, you know, what energy you even have, you know, when you're just so fucking tired, period. You know, which is also an unfair thing about that your talent is getting so good and so much better, you know, and
you have less time
you
than ever.
You literally have less time to do things. And also, you know, a little less energy too sometimes. You'd be like, shit. Like the other night, both Bashir and I were up writing, and we like looking at each other laughing because we like, damn, I can't believe we're sitting here trying to pull an all-nighter right now. Like we're really up trying to pull all-nighters. Yeah. And he got further than me, you know what I'm saying? But shit, I had a baby. God damn it, I deserve a little more sleep. But I couldn't. I think I made it to like maybe almost 1
page.
No,
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
But
but
that's fair too. Sometimes
but
you
the
just
page
get a
count,
fucking page.
but the page count got worse and worse. The later and later it got, it got to the point where stuff wasn't even making sense no more.
And
like
you
I'm reading over,
and
I'm
the
like,
late night hour.
Yeah.
That used to be your lane.
That was my time. That was my time.
was.
Shit. And I could get it done. Oh, it's due tomorrow? No, I ain't read it. But you know what? Give me 5 hours, between maybe 1 and 6.
Wow.
I get it in.
Never me.
Yeah.
I'll get it in.
Yeah.
But now I'm not built like that. But you know what I find fascinating is, given Hollywood's obsession with youth, the fact that, this past year's Oscar situation, it was some silver foxes majority, and just even like the box office
Most
period,
of
like
the time.
Top Gun being such a huge thing. Look at that lead. That's I think Tom Cruise just turned 60. Look at Michelle Yeoh, like Angela Bassett, like
Jamie Lee
Curtis. Like I was like, oh, Brendan Fraser, who was a person, yes, who had a wonderful career in his youth, but is now not getting his moment. Yes, all these people not really getting their, now getting their due, and that kind of inspires me that these people are really stepping into the fullness of their careers at a time where it seems like they can really handle it and enjoy it differently because they're not in a rat race. They're sensible about what life is about, and I see that and I admire it so much. And I'm like, you know what? If it happens like that for me, I could be okay.
Yes,
I could take that.
And it just looks like they really mastered the ability to block out all the noise, because that's what I think that's what you have to do to persevere. If you continue to listen to what representatives are saying, what society is saying, what gender roles tell you, then you're not gonna make it.
Right. And that really like begs the question. It's like, were we ever too old, or is the world finally catching up? Because I feel like, it's like we're in a wave now where everything's coming back to the people that were supposed to be discarded a long time ago. A lot of our heroes in our own community are finally being recognized on the world stage, getting those Oscars so they can get those pay raises and negotiate higher. Because I don't give a fuck about an Oscar, but like I do care about the bag that comes with getting an Oscar. It is an economic investment. Okay, like now my lawyer can really be in your ass. Like, oh no, starring roles only, millions only, right?
Offers.
So like, know the importance of it. But yeah, I'm so happy for our women, the women we've loved, we've grown up seeing. They deserve it all. And I do think, I am a huge fan of Reese Witherspoon. I feel like she really took her career by the reins when she got in her 40s and was like, oh, fuck y'all. Y'all not gonna take my stories. I'm gonna just start telling stories only about women in their 40s now. Same for Kerry Washington. Same for, Ava DuVernay. Like, I think that things are changing. So we just got to continue to lean into that change and be that. Period.
I think that's the most important part, is to be that. And that's why I'm, happy that we are still strengthening our pens, continuing to write, continuing to create, because I do think, we have to change the face. The youth, you can have your little fucking moments, but we ain't gonna just be writing shit about star-crossed lovers, okay? It's about the bitches up in their 30s and up in their 40s, okay? Still getting it. And that's what y'all finna be watching. Now we're gonna transition. I'm gonna be watching my shit. Now we're gonna transition to a little thing called Bootleg Fabulous. And since we're talking about time today, time, we'll talk about some time-saving hacks, some things that you do to just get the most out of your day. So I have 2 things, that I'm doing right now. And it's just about eating, because number one, obviously I forgot to eat today because last night I did not do my proper preparation, but most days I've been doing it good. I've become very serious about making little breakfasts the night before that you can just heat up really quick. So like little egg muffins, and you can, make them different. You just put them in, or I'll make my little smoothie the night before. even though my preference is a fresh smoothie. But, you know, if I do it the night before, I feel like it takes me a firm 30 minutes in the day.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And you're already, mornings are a little harder regardless, so why not?
Mornings are horrible for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you capitalize on where your energy is best at use. Like, period.
That's
You
a
know?
hack in itself. Capitalize where your energy is
Like,
best.
know yourself. Like, for me, I am a morning person, so actually I love getting up at 7 and like, or 6:30 and using that first hour to just solely wholly for me and like doing whatever I want to do, putting my music on, being quiet, no phone, no laptop, journaling if I feel like it, taking a walk around the neighborhood if I feel like it, whatever, and then also eating at some point, right? And then it's like, okay, after that, then I will groom myself, and then I will address the world 8 and beyond, maybe 9 and beyond, depending on the day.
Nice.
But myself first. You know? Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, a huge life hack, I brought it up earlier, is passive income, financial literacy, right? I feel like, especially as Black women, like, so many of us never learned how to use tools to our advantage and how to understand how to make money for itself for you, so that you don't have to show up for the job in these streams of income. It's, you're just getting checks.
Huge time saver.
Woo! Big
having to
difference.
go.
Okay? And so whether that's learning how to invest, whether it's learning how to delegate to a financial advisor that will invest for you, if you want to do that, obviously in investing in a real estate, in a passive income that can provide you money, the more you can just automate that, the more time you have. You're not working for somebody else anymore, potentially. So, and then my other big life hack is, I mean, this could be a whole episode in itself, but having to prioritize who I spend my time with and how much, you know? And it's like, look, if the friend is toxic, if there's some toxic shit, you gotta go. Like, toxic shit drives my pussy up. Like, I don't have time for it. So, you know, so it's just really like, there's just not enough time in the day. Like, I have to just, even my best friends, my family members, I adore you, but I had to communicate to people, hey, it's not personal. It's not like I don't want to call you and show up the way I used to. I'm really trying to figure this life thing out. And that's just where I'm at right now.
I don't have it together.
I don't have it. It's not personal. I love you.
Yeah.
Man, what about you?
So my time hacks, I have become a meal prep girly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And meal prep not being that I'm prepping these, someone delivers me food.
Rich girl.
Food is one thing I cannot think about. Like cooking for myself does not bring me joy. Unlike my mother, I mean, she loves to cook. It truly is a passion to her. It did not come to me. It feels like an obligation.
Yeah.
But when it's for other people, I love cooking for people. I love feeding people. But for myself, it's extremely laborious. So yes, meal service girly. I'm getting really better at prioritizing tasks. Like the night before, write out everything I need to do the next day, and I actually write an itinerary of what time I'm going to do them. And then where I'm at right now is getting realistic about the time that I'm allotting. You're like, bitch, you thought you could do this in an hour?
That's the important part.
Ooh.
Excuse me? Like, you really thought?
Real.
You was really ambitious at that 10 p.m. hour, babe.
Right, because you know you was gonna stop and check out and daydream for 10 minutes and then come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just like, oh, wake up from 7 to 8
Right.
and then I'm gonna have my meditation, I'm gonna have my shower, I'm gonna have my breakfast in. No, I'm not, because I'm laying in this bed
Right.
for at least 30 minutes.
Right. Right.
And understand what life is.
Period.
I love that. Well, that's our episode, and I think we learned really two very important things. Toxicity dries up Crystal's pussy. It's very important. And we also learned that you're never too fucking old. Okay, so that has been another episode of Unglamorous Truths with the Downtown Girls. I'm Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
I'm Amebit. You can find me at Amebit Bayene.
I'm Crystal. You can follow me at _Chris.
And you can find Unglamorous Truths on Instagram, on your TikTok, on your YouTube, and you can listen to our podcast wherever you find yours.